Welcome back to part 2 of repair and repaint my living room. I just wanted to get on here for a minute and tell you guys, when I paint or do anything, I put my hair up in a bun because I don't know about you, but my hair falls out. And you do not want to have strands of hair stuck into your paint when you're painting. So that being said, the first thing I have to do, well, I took all the pictures off and I've moved the furniture to the middle of the room. And now I've got to patch some holes. So like I said before, I've got Sherwin-Williams shrink-free spackling, and I'm gonna start with the holes from where the TV stand, or TV wall mount is what it is, was. It put some big holes in here. I'm probably going to have to do a couple of small fills, let it dry, and then fill again. I have a spackle knife, and what I do is I just put a little bit on the spackle knife, and then I go over the hole. I just keep smoothing over the hole in different directions until it's pretty flat. And I will do that over all of these walls until all of the holes are filled. Okay, I have spackled all the holes. I'm waiting for them to dry. And I have gone through also, and I have caulked all the gaps in my crown molding. I tried really hard to set up the camera so you could watch me caulk, and I just couldn't figure out how to do it. I don't have two tall ladders, and that's really what I needed. But I used the Sheer Max caulk because it is supposed to be helpful with shifting. And since this is a mobile home, there is shifting involved. So hopefully this will keep the cracks from becoming large. I went around and did all of them. I even did some that were on the door frames. So I'm going to show you the caulk gun and how to use it though. All right, in order to use caulk, you have to have a caulk gun. There's this little hole right here. I should have showed you that, guys, this one I did it. But you just put the tip of the caulk, oh, it doesn't want to come out, in here and squeeze it, and it pops the tip off. Then as you do the handle, it will automatically tighten up to the point where caulk will start coming out. And you hold it here, and then you aim it where you need it to be. And then I would use my finger to fill in, and I had a damp rag that I wiped over and smoothed it. And now it is all dry and ready to go. Your caulk can be reused. So I covered up with some saran wrap and a little bit of tape. And then when I am ready to do the next bedroom or the next room, this little thing on the end, you poke it through and it pops like the dried part at the front so you can use it again. So that is how you use caulk and the purpose of it. You make sure you get paintable caulk because you're going to paint over it. Okay, once the caulk and the drywall patching is dry, you've got to sand down the walls. It is important to sand the walls before you paint. Any dust or lumps is going to be magnified with paint, especially color paint, and I am going to put color on these walls. I go to the hardware store and I tell them I'm going to sand my walls down in preparation for paint, and they tell you the grit that you need to get because sandpaper comes in different grit, and different grit is for different things. So you need to tell them exactly what you're using it for. I prefer these little blocks. They're easier to hold. You can rinse them out. I have a multi-pack, so when one gets full, I rinse it out, set it aside to dry, and then get another one out. These walls took me forever to sand. Forever! They had definitely not been sanded before the people that put this trailer together did it. I was sanding off the original drywall mud that had just dripped down the wall and they left it there. They're so rough. It was just not a good situation. So it took me a very long time to sand these walls, but I finally got it done. Okay, after all of the sanding was done, I had to clean the walls. I just used a damp rag and I started at the crown molding all the way down the walls and the baseboards, just wiping the dust that I had created by sanding away. After I was done with that, I took a damp mop and I mopped up the floor. Now, you have to wipe down the dust. It's going to get into your paint and make it like chipped and lumpy and just not smooth. So you've got to wipe away the dust. Avoid the feeling to be done quickly with vacuuming, because the vacuum has a vent in the back and all the drywall dust will shoot out the back all over the rest of your house. So a damp rag and damp mop is really the best thing to do. You do not need soap, just damp, that's it. Okay, I'm ready to start priming my walls. So I told you before, I'm using the Sherwin-Williams drywall primer. I've already put it in my pan. I have a smooth nap roller, and I also have a little brush. I like to use Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y, roller covers and brushes just because I like to. I think they hold up, because I'll wash these and reuse them, and I think they hold up to being reused very well. I also have a damp rag in case I make a big spill on the floor. I am not going to tape any of this off because I'm replacing everything. So if I get a little bit of paint on the floor, it's not a big deal. If I get a little bit of paint on the ceiling, it's not a big deal, because eventually I'm going to put new flooring in, and I'm also going to cover the disgusting ceiling. So I'm not worried about that. Normally I would put down painter's tape. And when I go to paint the walls and paint the trim a different color, I'll probably use some painter's tape then so that you can see what I do. But right now, I am just going to prime all of the walls, the molding and the baseboards and the walls, the door trims, and the back of the doors, because I'm painting all of those. So I'll let you see what it's like when I'm all done. Okay, I want to show you one more spot. I have all of these black marks on here. My aunt had some stickers up here, and when I peeled them off, they left this black residue. So I'm gonna roll over this with the primer. Look at that. This will not show through with my regular paint. This is why we prime. Okay, so interesting turn of events here. I'm out of primer. The can is empty, but I am not done priming. These walls have just sucked up this primer, which further proves to me these walls were not primed before. I think they had a spray coat of some watered down something that they called primer, but clearly it wasn't good enough, because I should have been able to get this done with one can, and I'm done. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn in the video. You really can't see anything. The walls just look bright white. I mean, you don't see much with the primer. Anyway, I've got to drive to town and get another can of this. It'll take me 40 minutes to get there. So I'm going to submit this video, and I'll be sure to, show you the finished primed walls when I start video number 3, when I add color.